Yo, what's up guys? Rago here from Kite. So I just got the new rod engine harness lineup in, and I'm going to be spending the next few months just getting acquainted with them, testing them, and eventually I'll do some more in-depth reviews on the harness and kind of figure out which one I'm going to be using for the year. But in the meantime, I wanted to do a first impression video and kind of break down the new Unity system, each of the harnesses, and what you can expect out of them, and who might be drawn to whatever specific harness in the lineup. So let's get to it. All right, so first up we have the Carbon Elite series. And this looks pretty similar to what we saw in previous iterations with their Elite series harness. So you have a really lightweight, incredibly stiff harness. They still have the lumbar lock. So if you remember with Rod Engine, they kind of took different molds of people's backs and it locks into the small of your back for a really secure fit. Now this is the harness for anybody who wants the stiffest harness possible. So there's almost no flex in this harness. Whether you're pushing on the sides, trying to twist it, it's not going to flex or twist in any way, and it should lock in and not ride up on most people. Now, they do have some other options. So moving down the lineup, we actually have the Saber. And this is the one that I actually might be most interested in myself this year. And the reason being is this one has torsional flex. So while it's still rigid across here, there's a bit of flex and a bit of give right where you might want it. And for some people, they found that the hard shell harnesses, just in general, were a bit too stiff for them. And having torsional flex is something that I've kind of been drawn to in my hard shell selection. Whenever I've gone for a hard shell in the past, I've always gone for one that did have a bit of give, just to allow me to move a little bit more freely in the harness, but I'm still getting the benefits of that locked in, rigid hard shell harness. So I think having this option is really smart. And for anybody who's maybe tried a Rod Engine in the past and felt that it was too stiff for them, this might be an incredibly comfortable option for you. So moving down again, they actually have a soft shell harness this year called the Momentum. And this, it still has the lumbar lock, but it's flexible. I mean, you can squish this harness, it moves in every way, so no rigidity to it. So for people who simply cannot wear a hard shell, and I've actually spoken with a few people now where every hard shell they try, just in spite of the fact that hard shells are an upgrade harness and they don't ride up on most people, some people who are extremely skinny or just don't like that feel of like being locked in but still want something that's going to be comfortable with like the lumbar lock, this would be a good option to try if you're that person who's been searching and you just can't find a hard shell that's working for you, but you want a high-end soft shell harness. So other things to note is these things are incredibly soft. So they do have neoprene and there is foam in here. And when I was trying these on, the first thing that I noticed is while they're very encompassing, like there's a lot of padding everywhere in the harness that really does like contour to your back. So if you're somebody who doesn't want to have like foam or anything rigid inside your harness, if you're always riding somewhere where you're always in boardies or something like that, these are going to be a really good option for somebody who just wants like the most plush, softest fitting harness. So moving on to the Unity bar, this is actually what's most exciting about this. The Unity system and the ladder lock. So what Rod Engine has done is they've created a really streamlined spreader bar that does come with some wings here that prevent the harness spreader bar from doing any kind of twisting or riding up or anything like that. So this is incredibly locked in and steady, but also you have this double clamp, so you can actually take the spreader bar off with no webbing. So this is actually really exciting if you're somebody who maybe you want to have like a kite hook, a rope spreader bar, and for you wing surfers out there, you could do the wing surfing hook. So all of a sudden you're not swapping out between the webbing and dealing with something like this where you see the webbing and you're trying to take the each spreader bar off to accommodate whatever sport you're doing. All of a sudden it's as easy as just popping up two clamps here pulling out the spreader bar and swapping it out. And other times it might be useful. Once in a while when I'm like packing gear or anything like that, I do have to take it off. Not that often, but if you're somebody who does swap your spreader bars, that's really incredible. The other nice thing about this that I really like is it's kind of a more secure fit. So when you clamp this down, it really locks the harness in, and having that on both sides is noticeable. So a couple of us at the shop did try it on, and we were kind of impressed with how secure and how perfect the fit really is with these harnesses. So another thing that's really nice about this is if you're left-handed or right-handed, you can decide which side you want to take the harness off. So you can see just having that unity system, having the ease of use of adjusting the buckles on the side. It's just that little ladder lock system that you can move really fluidly and easily and get it set perfectly where you want it. And something else that's kind of cool is they do have a measurement system here, so you can get it even on both sides. You can kind of remember exactly where you like yours. So maybe when you're wearing your wetsuit and maybe you like it at a 2, and then when you're not wearing your wetsuit, you might want to tighten it down to like a 1.5, or little details like that that are going to be really nice in those situations where normally you'd be messing with webbing, trying to get this pulled out, whether you're like in the cold and you're trying to deal with this. And I mean, it's a small detail. Obviously you're like, oh no, big deal, you have to deal with some webbing. But honestly, just having a feature like this is actually a pretty innovative idea. Some other finer notes. So these two harnesses here, the two hard shell harnesses, come with a ladder lock. If you go for the seat harness or the soft shell like this, it is standard webbing. It does come with this system here that is compatible with the Unity, so while you're not getting the ladder lock, you still can put a Unity spreader bar right onto these harnesses as well. And if you're not using a Radigi harness, let's say you're using another hard shell harness, but you really want the advantages of having the Unity system, you can get this webbing adapter, and you could run this on, say, something like a Mystic or another brand. Basically, it should fit as long as you have the webbing that runs through, and then you have a space to fit these wings here. So if you're running Mystic, this should fit on your Mystic harness and things like that. So one final note, so there is a Kite Spreader Bar and a Windsurf Spreader Bar, and as well, you can get an adapter kit. So if you wanted to run a surf adapter on here, Rod Engine actually has a nice little video showing how to do it. It takes about 6 minutes, but you can take these screws out here, you can pull this off, this plastic piece off, pull the hook out, and then you can replace it with the rope. So it's actually relatively easy to get this in and make the adjustment. It's about a 6-minute job. It is still kind of a one-time job, so once you convert a hook to a rope, you're kind of locked in. You might be able to finagle it. You'd probably have to get a new rope. So I would encourage you to look at getting different spreader bars for different sports if you still want to go that route. But that's pretty much it. So we will we'll let you know what we think over the next coming months. I do think I'm going to cross over to the Sabre. I have tried all of these on, and even though the Carbon Elite is probably going to be the most popular because it seems everybody always wants the highest end harness, I felt like the Sabre was actually really comfortable. I'm not gonna lie. The graphics are pretty sick. I just like the graphics better. But we'll follow up in a couple weeks here after some demoing and give you a thorough review on this and maybe even some comparisons. So in the meantime, if you have any questions about these harnesses, let us know in the comments. Give the shop a call if you want to talk to the guys about them. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.